happy Eid-el-Kabir celebration to all our Muslim faithfuls as you join us on the news on African Free Press Television. My name is Leo Oketa with the news updates. Matriarch of the Awolowo family, Chief Mrs. Heed Awolowo, will be buried on November the 25th, the day she is supposed to clock 100. This was disclosed by her eldest child, Reverend Mrs. Tola Oyediran, while responding to former President Goodluck Jonathan's message at the Efunyela Hall, Ikene home of the Awolowos, yesterday during the visit of the former president and his wife, Patience. Dr. Jonathan and his wife were accompanied by former Commonwealth Secretary General Chief Emeka Anyaogu, Deputy Governor of Ondo State, Mr. Lasisi Oluboyo, former House Leader, House of Representatives, Alhaja Molikat Adeola Akande, former Governor of Ogun State, Chief Benga Daniel, and the former Director of the Federal Road Maintenance Agency, FEMA, Mr. Jide Adeniji. As the Nigerian Muslims join their counterparts across the world to commemorate the year's Eid-el-Kabir celebration, President Muhammadu Buhari declared yesterday that national security remains his priority. He therefore ordered security agencies to provide maximum security across the nation, especially in areas most vulnerable to terrorist attacks. The President also charged Muslims to display patience, fortitude, tolerance, endurance, patience, and a great willingness to make personal sacrifices for the good of all as they celebrate. On September 23, 2015, Nigeria imposed a tight movement restriction in the restive northeast after Boko Haram bombings that killed more than 100, raised fears of fresh attacks over the Eid-el-Adha festival. Chairman of All Progressive Congress APC, Chief John Odigie-Oyegun, on Wednesday said the party's primary for the December 5th governorship election in Bayelsa State has been rescheduled. Odigie-Oyegun told reporters in Abuja that the primary earlier scheduled for Tuesday, September the 22nd was cancelled due to security challenges, adding that leadership of the party would meet to choose a new date for the exercise. Attempts by the party to conduct the primary at the Samson Siasia Stadium, Yenagoa, on Tuesday was frustrated by fracas involving supporters of most of the 19 aspirants. The situation led to the walkout of 14 aspirants, including Chief Timi Alaibe, from the venue after chairman of the primaries committee, Adam Soshomole, was reportedly taken out of the place to avoid being attacked. Confirming the postponement of the primaries, Deputy National Publicity Secretary of the party, Mr. Timi Frank, said the primary did not hold in Bayelsa on Tuesday. According to Frank, fracas marred the exercise, but one of the aspirants and former governor of the state, Timi Silva, held a member of the committee under duress to declare him winner of the exercise. National Agency for Food and Drugs Administration and Control, NAFDAC, has warned Nigerians not to buy a certain brand of noodles called Maggi noodles produced by Nestle India. The Food and Drugs Regulatory Body noted that the brand of noodles contained excess lead, which kills over 143,000 annually. It said that the Maggi noodles were unsafe and hazardous for human consumption, as Nestle has recalled its Maggi instant noodles from stores across India following reports by the Indian food safety regulators of probable lead contamination. Lead exposure causes an estimated 143,000 deaths a year worldwide. In view of the potential safety concerns and consumption of the lead-contaminated Maggi instant noodles, NAFDAC warns that Maggi instant noodles produced by Nestle India should not be consumed. Departmental stores, wholesalers, and retailers are advised to be proactive in ensuring that such products are brought to NAFDAC and not sold under any circumstance. Leader of the movement for the actualization of sovereign state of Biafra, MASOB, Chief Ralph Wazirike, yesterday declared that activities of MASOB can never be banned because it has the backing of the United Nations Charter on Indigenous Peoples' Right to Self-Determination. Wazirike, who spoke in reaction to the purported ban on MASOB activities in Anambra State by the Commissioner of Police, Mr. Jose Akama, advised the police to study the United Nations Charter, Article 1 to 2, on Indigenous Peoples' Rights. Speaking through the Deputy National Director for Information, Mazi Chris Moka, and Masob leader, explained that the UN General Assembly had on September 13, 2007, adopted a resolution calling for the recognition of the world's 370 million people's rights to self-determination. According to him, the UN General Assembly had on Thursday, September 13, 2007, while Odigie-Oyegun was in detention in Kefi prison in Nasarawa State, adopted a resolution that called for the recognition of the world's 370 million people's right to self-determination and control over their lands and resources. UN Secretary General Ban Ki-moon welcomed on Thursday the reinstatement of Burkina Faso's interim leader Michel Kafando and transitional institutions after coup leaders stood down, stating that the resumption of political process will enable Burkina Faso hold presidential and legislative elections in accordance with the country's constitution and transitional charter. The West African nation's elite presidential guard on September the 16th detained Kafando, acting Prime Minister Yakuba Isaac Zida, and 2 other government ministries. The West African nation's elite presidential guard on September the 16th detained Kafando, acting Prime Minister Yakuba Isaac Zida, and 2 other government ministers, announcing a coup that following day. The new military regime led by General Gilbert Diendere came under strong pressure to quit from the United Nations, former colonial power France, Washington, the African Union, and the Economic Community of West African States, ECOWAS, which mediated a resolution to the crisis. Ban commended ECOWAS on finding a settlement and called on all national stakeholders to exercise restraint and to ensure respect for the physical integrity and human rights of all Burkinabe citizens. Somalian military officials said on Wednesday that at least 10 Al-Shabaab militants were killed in a battle in Bay region, southern Somalia. Abdullahi Sheikh Ahmed, a senior military officer in the region, told journalists that Somalia and Ethiopian troops also burnt 3 vehicles after intense battle with the militants early Wednesday. The military official also said that they are holding several Al-Shabaab militants, vowing to bring them to justice. The Al-Qaeda-linked group Al-Shabaab, which is battling to topple the Somalian federal government, has lost many strongholds in southern and central Somalia, but the group is still able to launch attacks in Somalia and neighboring countries. On Monday, Al-Shabaab militants exploded a car bomber near the presidential palace in capital Mogadishu, killing 11 people. At least 220 people were killed and hundreds wounded in a stampede at the annual Hajj in Saudi Arabia today, in a second tragedy to strike the pilgrims this year. The stampede, one of the worst incidents to hit the Hajj in nearly a decade, broke out during a symbolic stoning of the devil ritual. It was not immediately clear what had caused the stampede. It was the second major incident this year for Hajj pilgrims after a construction crane collapsed on September 11th at Mecca's Grand Mosque, Islam's holiest site, killing 109 people, including many foreigners. Hundreds of thousands of pilgrims had converged in Mina on Thursday to throw pebbles at one of 3 walls representing Satan, the ritual that marks the last day of the Hajj. The world's 1.5 billion Muslims were on Thursday marking Eid-el-Adha, the Feast of Sacrifice, the most important day of the Islamic calendar. The Hajj is among the 5 pillars of Islam, and every capable Muslim must perform it at least once in a lifetime. A suicide bomber struck a mosque in Yemen's rebel-held capital on Thursday in an attack targeting Shiites that killed at least 25 people and wounded dozens during holiday prayers. There was no immediate claim of responsibility, but Sana'a had been shaken by a string of bombings by the Islamic State jihadist group in recent months, targeting Shiites. Iran-backed Shiite Houthi rebels, considered heretics by the Sunni extremists of ISIL, seized control of Sana'a a year ago. Thursday's blast ripped through the Bolili Mosque, located near a police academy, where the rebels and their supporters go to pray, according to witness. It came as Muslims marked Eid-al-Adha, a festive of sacrifice, the most important holiday of the Islamic calendar. Witnesses say that after the first blast inside the mosque, a suicide bomber detonated an explosive belt at the entrance as worshippers rushed outside. The perpetrators hid explosives inside shoes and clothing to get past body searches introduced at the entrance after the other attacks, according to the mosque head of security, Adnan Khaled. And that's the story on African Free Press Television. For more, please do visit our website at www.africanfreepress.com. Follow us on Twitter at African Free Press and like us on Facebook at African Free Press. Still wishing all our Muslim faithfuls a happy Eid-el-Kabir celebration. My name is Leo Oketa. Bye-bye.